Today we're going to talk about how to get professional results painting a room by yourself. First thing we're going to do is start off by pulling off all the wall hardware. That includes switch plates, outlet plates, mini blinds, things like that. We want to make sure our prep job is clean because the prep job is the paint job. So I'm going to start off by pulling off all the outlet covers. There's just one flathead screw associated with that. I'm going to put it face down, screw in the middle. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Next thing I'm going to do is lay down some, it's like a tarp, canvas type tarp. This is going to keep the carpet clean in case I accidentally drop some paint on the ground. So we're going to lay this tarp down as best as we can. Next thing we're going to do is take a look at the wall, see if we have any holes in the wall. I did see one here, a small one. So what I'm going to do is take a little bit of spackling or caulking, and I'm going to fill that hole just with my finger. I'm not going to use a putty knife or anything. I personally get the best results when I use my finger. When I apply a very conservative coat of caulking, you don't want to overdo it, otherwise you're going to see the caulking come up from underneath the paint. I like to use Alex. It's a painter's acrylic latex caulk. It's good for 25 years. Make sure you use a paintable caulking. Not all of them are paintable. The silicone based ones are typically not paintable, but they're good for waterproofing projects, like for your bathrooms and bathtubs. So I'm going to take a little bit. This one's white color. Be sure to get the white. The clear isn't as good. I haven't gotten as good as results with the clear, but the white is definitely the way to go. So I'm going to take a little bit, put it on my finger, just put it as necessary. Okay, in the locations that you need it. This wall's looking pretty good. There isn't any sort of stains or anything that I need to wipe down. But in the case that you do have stains or any sort of liquids that have been on the wall and have stained the wall, it's a good idea to take a wet sponge, warm wet sponge, wipe the area down where you see any debris, because that will come up in the final paint job. So this to me looks pretty dang good. What I can do is take a wet sponge, clean off the baseboards real quick, and then we'll be ready to paint. A quick tip for you guys is keep a sheetrock knife in the back of your pocket. Sheetrock knife allows you to take off the wall plates really easy, quick and easy. Sometimes painters will caulk around the wall plates, and even though you do take off the screw, the plate will not come off the wall. And so a quick easy tip is take a sheetrock knife and cut the caulking from around the wall plate. That allows the wall plate to come off nice and easy. So I have seen it in the past where painters apply the caulking. Easy way to get around it. Take a sheetrock knife, cut the caulking from around it, and you should be able to take this up nice and fine, nice and easy. Next thing I'm going to talk about are rollers. I like to use just a brand new roller every time I start a new project. Sometimes you'll see painters reuse their old rollers from day to day. A new roller is good to have. The nap. You can buy different rollers with different naps. You can buy a 1/2 inch nap, a 3/8 nap. You'll just have to see what works best for you. I believe this is a 3/8 nap. It works just fine for me for small house projects like this. What you do is you just slide this onto your roller. It slides right onto the roller, and then you apply the paint to it, and you're good to go. Next thing I'm going to talk about is your paint tray. I like to use a metal paint tray. They make plastic ones. They make inserts for paint trays. Metal one works best for me. It's nice and rigid. It's less likely to spill. I like to put a piece of cardboard underneath the paint tray or put the paint tray on the tarp here. That way, if I do spill, it's soaked up by the tarp and not by the carpet. So just keep that in mind as you proceed with your project. What I like to do is dip the roller in the paint. I like to do 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see the roller turn as you're applying the paint. That's a good thing. Then you want to wipe off the excess towards the end there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to talk about is how to apply a nice coat of paint on your wall and get professional results. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from one corner and end at the next. We're going to do a wall-to-wall application of paint. Touch-up jobs are a little bit more tricky, but in order to get the professional job, professional results, what you have to do is do wall-to-wall coats, okay? And that's one even coat of paint starting from one corner, ending at the next. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate how I would go about painting this room. I'm going to start at this corner right here. I'm going to stop about 1 inch from the top. And I'm going to stop about 1 inch from the bottom. Okay, and as you guys notice, I'm doing one even vertical stroke, 1 to 2 even vertical strokes. It all depends on how much that wall is able to suck the paint. Now, in moist conditions, in areas where your walls are cold and they have condensation on them, a good idea and a good tip to keep in mind is to kick on the heater. The heater heats up the area. It also allows that condensation to go away, and it makes your wall, it gives your wall that extra push it needs to soak up that paint and dry that paint. Otherwise, your paint could be wet for hours. So that's just a quick, easy tip. Try to get good results. So here's the second line. Do is finish off this wall. I'm going to show you guys how to do this quickly and effectively using a brush. Okay, I like to use a brush with a slight angle to it. This is a 2.5 inch brush, bristle brush. Like I said, it's slightly angled. I like that for my preference. I like to hold my brush just like this, apply a nice amount of paint to it, dry it off, and then hit the wall with it. We're going to do both the top and the bottom. We're not going to touch the ceiling. We are going to do the baseboards. So stay tuned for that. Alright guys, here's another quick tip for you. What I like to do is leave a little bit of paint in the bottom of this gallon. I don't want to be lugging around a big old gallon while I'm doing this. And look at how I'm holding the gallon. I have my thumb grabbing the handle of the gallon. What I'm doing is putting it up against the gallon, 4 fingers right underneath. Now what I'm going to do is have a nice container that I'm going to use to apply the paint across the top. So stay tuned. let this dry and we'll be right back. Alright guys, there you have it. The walls have dried. Everything looks great. Last tip I have for you is keep a moist sponge in and around the area you're working in. If you do have an issue or a mistake, you can just go ahead and wipe that wet paint off with this. Like I said, try to keep it wet, and every time you use it, go to the sink, wash it out, clean your sponge, keep your sponge nice and clean. Last thing also to keep in mind is your wall plates. Replace any broken wall plates. It can really make a difference when everything's done. If you have wall plates that are dirty, you can go ahead and wash those in the sink. Clean them off with your sponge, dry them off real well, and then reinstall them. And that'll take a little bit of extra time, but like I said, that preparation time you're spending, it's your paint job. So there you have it. 1, 2, 3, done.